Let's have a deep talk of 3 things that bass fishing needs right now. If you are a tournament angler or a weekend angler, this video is for you guys, and you're going to get to hear from me as a perspective that I do this for a living. This pays the bills to provide food on the table, my mortgage. Like I said, I've done this for 3 years, and I really want to get in depth on this video. And we're going to dive deep into it, guys. Welcome to the Fishing Coach YouTube channel. My name's Jimmy Eastling. I go by Coach Guys. I do a variety of content on the channel, on the water videos, talk videos like this. Not necessarily like this one, but information videos, guys. Thank you for tuning in if this is your first time. And guys, let's get into it. And fishing right now is in a unique situation, okay? A unique spot. But fishing, I always say, is what you make it. It's always what you make it. And you're hearing from a guy, like I just said, this is my job. I guide, I do on the water lessons, I do the content, and I have a different perspective, I think, than other people. So you just get to hear it. And leave me comments. Let me know down below what you think, guys. So go ahead, leave the comments, share. Come on, talk to me, guys. I'll talk to you right back, guys. So let's dive into it. The first one is respect. Okay, guys, right now, we need to respect each other as anglers, okay? And there's different situations and different lines of respect. I'm gonna talk about Jason Christie as one of the old school guys I look up to. I see Jason as, he's a former basketball coach, former coach educator, and he went through the tournaments, made it, right? He went for it, okay? And now you're hearing from me as a former coach of 12 years, a football coach, mathematics teacher, I coach football, baseball, I coach track, fishing coach also. I had a high school fishing team. So I kind of relate to him in that regard as a former educator. But he did tournaments, I did not. I never had a dream of wanting to be a tournament angler. Never did. I wanted to have a dream of making money fishing, and then here we are. So that's another story. But the thing about Jason I always kind of liked when I watched him is he had this old school toughness about him. And he just had this persona he gave off as, I'm going to do my thing, I'm really good at what I do, and I'm going to beat you at what I do. And just how he handled himself at the ramps when I would go to the couple tournaments I went to, just how he handled himself. He always kind of was a guy I thought that spoke after he thought, okay? And then another thing I want to share of the respect is, because we're all different, this is why I'm going to get in different situations. The last tournament at St. John's River, Bill Lowens is fishing this area, and Bill starts talking, and all of a sudden you see Jason go by, and they're chatting. Jason takes off or idles through. Jason, from what it kind of seemed like, Bill said Jason let him have the area, and it's a small little canal or creek, okay? It's a small little deal. And Jason let him have it. And Bill mentioned Jason drove so many miles and wasted time to come here, saw me here, and said, you can have it. And that was respect, okay? And we're in a time now, and I've seen it with me, where I've been on trips where I'm at Lake Ouachita, which, guys, is 1,000 miles of shoreline, a lot of areas to fish, where I'm in another person's boat, and we're whacking them, and the guy's seeing us, and then he comes and idles right by us where I can hit him with my lure, okay? And, yeah, if we left, go ahead, check it out. Go ahead, check it out. I don't care. But, and there's tournaments now to where we're so good as anglers. We're better than ever. But we know where the juice hole is, and all of a sudden there's 20 of us on it. And I'm just kind of seeing what the future is now, and I get it on some tournaments, okay? I get it how there are tournament scenarios where you don't take off in a boat order, you take off at daylight, or excuse me, you take off and it's a start at 7 o'clock, whatever, and you get to go at 6:15 and idle to your hole, whatever. And there's 20 of you guys on a hole, and I get that you just paid a $300 entry fee. I get that you're fishing for money, but there's a time we got to do this respect deal. There's a time where we're going to have to respect each other. And like I said, once again, one reason why I don't do tournaments, okay? And if we do tournaments, I like the takeoff deal because I can see where you're at and I can make my deal. But anyway, that's a whole other deal. So, but seeing Jason let Bill have that spot, it's a respect thing. And it's more than just a spot deal, guys. I don't get to fish on the TVA. I fish different lakes, and I know all you guys on the TVA have figured it out. And y'all are all there competing on spots, but it's more of just respect each other as anglers, okay? Just respect. Let's respect each other, okay? We're all in this to fish, right? Number 2, let's talk about the second one, okay? Number 2 is pride. Anglers, guys, I was a coach, as I just said, for 12 years. And I thought football coaches, baseball coaches, I thought coaches had pride. No, fishermen have pride. And what I've seen so far, and I know most fishermen are males. We have females coming in, and I want more ladies to fish. I'm all about it. I know that's a thing right now at Bassmaster. They're pushing it, and I'm all about like taking the high school kids out. I've had high school anglers that are young girls going to be ladies. That's great, but the males that I've been around a lot have a lot of pride in fishing, and that's something I think every one of us has. Me, you, we all have a pride in a way, but guys, fishermen have the biggest pride I've ever been around for a hobby. I'm not a golfer, but a lot of golfers are not good at golf. Like golfing's the hardest sport, okay? As we've learned in fishing, anybody at any time can catch a 10-pounder. In golf, how many people hit a hole-in-one? Okay, so, but there's this pride with fishing. I have shared information and have helped people in fishing, and then they go and use it, and then all of a sudden they think they've done it, and there's no thank you, or all of a sudden it's this and that. I've seen that as pride. I've seen it at the ramp as pride, and we need to drop it. Guys, we just need to drop it. And that's something right now that like I think one of the big issues is man, we have some pride. Let's just drop it. Once again, it goes back to the respect deal. But like I said, once again, we're humans. We're not perfect. And we are prideful, but fishermen, I'm telling you, are some of the worst. I'm just, from my deal, on the water lessons, I've got to fish with a lot of people, beginning anglers, advanced anglers. I have fished with some wonderful people. I really have, and I've enjoyed it. So if you're watching this, and you're like, oh man, Jimmy's talking to me. Guys, I'm saying 9 out of my 10 people I fish with are some very enjoyable people to fish with. I do have a few that are up there, but that's, a whole nother deal. And it seems like on the pride deal, it's more the tournament anglers. And some of it can even go into your equipment. And that's something that's real big, I think, in fishing. And I don't want to you can have any equipment you want to fish and catch fish, okay? I'm in a scenario, I'm doing this for a living, but guys, I'm in a 20-year-old boat. I just had to put a new motor on it. I tried to make it last, and it didn't. I have an old Fortrex. I do have the Garmin. I've told people all the time, if you get anything, get the Garmin. I'm not feeling Garmin. Get a live scope forward facing. But I know some people out there that are every month just cutting the check, getting by. And they have this expensive rig. They have all this equipment. And guys, if you have a family, kids, you don't need all that to catch fish. Okay, now let's say you're older, you've worked for a long time, you're making really good money, and you've earned it. Okay, go get what you want. And if you're still providing for the family and for future family, good for you. I hope to be there someday. I really do. I do. I hope as I get to where I retire, I can provide for my kids, my family, my wife, and then have a really, really nice rig. But in my situation of life, I'm doing this for a living, I can't do that right now. I got 2 kids, another one on the way, and I catch fish with what I got, and I teach people with what I got perfectly fine. I get in some very sweet rigs. I've been with people on my lessons that have had successful businesses. They came from nothing and have figured it out. They're providing for their family. They got it. I'm not talking to you, but the people that are barely making it and barely providing, and we're not putting money back, we're doing it, but we're going to have the sweet rig. We guess that's part of the pride. We don't need all that, okay? We don't. And that's where fishermen, and it goes back to the KVD days that I watched. They had 2 graphs here, 2 up here. You got to have that to find them on the Tennessee River. And then here I am. I'm over here with a little 4-inch deal 2D and catching fish just fine. So the pro anglers, and that's one of my issues with professional tournament fishing and tournament fishing, is it's not a level playing field. When you go golf, you have a golf club. And I know there's better golf clubs and balls. But when you play football, you're playing football. And you're like, oh, hey, Jimmy, there's better skill. That skill doesn't cost anything. That skill is from you working and from you putting time in. And some people have better skill than others. That's life. But fishing, pride is just, and I just went really rampage there, pride. Let's get to number 3. And this one is going to speak to every single one of us, is why did you start fishing? Why do you fish? And I want you to think about that. And I'm going to tell you why I fish. When I grew up, fishing to me was a challenge. It was a getaway. With everything when I was young and in life, and I had a lot of stuff going on in my teenage years at the family, I went through a lot. Fishing was me to get away. And I enjoyed it. I really really, guys, fishing was like that puzzle. I was a math teacher, mathematics degree. Math is a puzzle. Like, there's something that's going to fit and it's going to work. No, that's one thing I like about math. English don't make sense to me. Like there's 3 different ways to say there's all this stuff. Like, English just is a language that doesn't make sense to me. Math, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. It's going to have a answer. And fishing is that way too. On these tough days like right now, no wind, bluebird skies. I just looked at a bunch of fish shallow on the forward facing that we have now. They're not eating. In the spring, these days where we have warm days, cold nights, it was always kind of tough. But later on, guys, we have a wind coming. Them shallow fish are going to be easier to catch. I'm about to come out here, try to find some fish out here to where the wind might not affect them as much. So there's always a puzzle. There's always an answer. And that's one reason why I like to follow tournaments, because somebody figures it out. So that's what fishing was to me. It was never about beating this guy. It was never about making money. It was about figuring out the puzzle and a getaway. As a coach, I competed every single day. As a coach, as a teacher, I competed. So to me, on the weekends or that day off, it was my getaway, but I was competing against the fish. And like I said, I had some bad experiences tournament fishing as a co-angler and other scenarios growing up, and I had some success. 2 years ago, I made quite a bit of money in a couple of tournaments, and I've done the high school thing. I put more of my time in the high school, taking kids out. And but fishing to me, that's what, like, I never was a tournament guy because of that. I always was like, hey, I'm going to figure them out, and I'm going to fish when I want to fish. I'm going to fish where I want to fish, and it was my getaway. So why do you fish? And as anglers, we need to remember that. We need to think, why are we fishing? Are we fishing to brag at the boat ramp? Are we fishing to figure out that puzzle? Are we fishing just to get outdoors? Are we fishing to get out of the house? I don't know. You might want to get out of the house and get away from your family. But fishing is what you make it. And that's what we got to remember. It's not about having all the equipment. It's not about having all this, that. It's what we make it. And so why do you fish? And that's something I want y'all to answer down right there. Leave me a comment down there, down below, if you're still watching it. If you are, some of you guys are probably, man, this dude's crazy. But it's okay. But guys, thank y'all for watching the Fishing Coach YouTube channel. Like I said, I do a variety of videos. On the water videos, got a bunch of forward-facing stuff. Got fishing without forward-facing, okay? And thank you once again. Now we're going to get into the fate. Okay, guys, on the fate use today, I'm going to share something I read this morning, and it made me kind of think about something I need to start doing. And it's putting the armor of God on every morning. I read Ephesians 5, and the second half of it talks about the armor of God, helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, sword of the Spirit, the belt of truth, and guys, like, when I worked at a Christian day camp, family farm, for my Arkansas guys, Glen Rose, Arkansas, family farm, Christian day camp, I worked there for 2 years, and I worked there 2 summers, and then I filled in here and there, and we live down the road from it now, and that family has meant a lot to me. So every morning when I was a counselor there, we put on the armor of God as a team. All of us counselors, everybody that worked there, we got together and prayed and put it on. I took that to college, and I started doing that every morning. And then somewhere down the line, I just kind of went away, and I did it here and there. But I read that this morning. I was like, man, that's something I need to do every morning, is put on the armor of God. And so, guys, for you, if you've not read Ephesians 5, or if it's been a while, go check it out. And it's something to where it might give you a thought of. So just prayer time in the morning, before you go to work, before you kind of get the family ready, whatever it is, let's put on the armor of God. Guys, thank you for watching Fishing Coach YouTube channel and checking out the Fate You segment. Now, we will see you on the next one.